What's up, you guys? So I'm here with a new video today, and I'm here to bring you guys Terrence Allen's top 8 Pasadena, California Regionals True Draco deck profile. Again, I was unable to record any live deck profiles, but shout out to Terrence for being kind enough to send me his deck list. As you guys know, the last video I profiled Ken's second place with Gokis, his 48 card hero Goki. Well, now we've got another deck coming out of left field topping this regional, and that deck is none other than True Draco. I think a lot of people forgot about True Draco. They forgot about the fact that this deck still exists, even though Masterpiece is gone. We did get Dynamite Knight back, which I think is just insane. I think people just don't understand how powerful it is to have this card back, and it's been said by many channels that if this card came back to more than one, it would definitely have an impact on the format. I think for now, though, this deck is definitely a contender for like one of the best anti-meta decks, one of the best stun decks, and just a really good deck to play if you're trying to just, kind of just screw the meta. It's extremely anti-meta. You guys can see that by his card choices. I think it's pretty crazy that, True Draco is still relevant in this format, but I think a lot of people have been sleeping on this deck, and I think because of that, they we're not prepared for it. I don't think a lot of people were siding for it. I think a lot of the cards people side are good against it, but I don't think people were dominantly siding for it. And since Masterpiece is gone again, I think a lot of people forgot about the deck. But anyways, I'm going to get into his deck profile. I think he's got some interesting choices here. Definitely, stuff we've seen before. He's got a different approach to it. And I know there are cards in here you guys are expecting to see, but they actually are not here. I actually messaged him about it, and I'll give you guys his reasoning. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. Again, he took 8th place out of 360 players at the Pasadena, California Regional. So let's get into it. For the monsters, we got the one Dynamite. Again, this card is nuts. Being able to search your traps is crazy. Apocalypse is one of the MVPs, and of course, you guys know Return being such a powerful one of. Being able to just resolve, Dynamite and get Return is nuts. It's how you keep your steady flow of monsters going. 3 Ignis, it's the best card. Going second, it's just a strong body too with Diagram. Card's just solid. It does everything you need it to do. And then just 2 copies of Maiden. If you guys are noticing, most decks do not play more than 2 Maidens. Some even opt to play 1. Reason being is Maiden is just the weakest one. Yes, it can search a monster, but a lot of times it's only good if you have a trap to be able to go Maiden, trap, and then, flip the trap, summon the monster. And that doesn't happen as much as you would think. So 2 Maiden is good. Keeps your True Draco count nice and low, and it just makes it more consistent. And then he is opting to play the 2 copies of Amano Iwado. If you guys saw Justin Singh's list, he didn't play Amano Iwado. Instead, he played Waterfalls of the Dragon Soul. He also played Ghost Durga in the main deck. So this is just more of like the usual True Draco lineup that we used to see even with Masterpiece. Amano Iwado is still crazy. Amano Iwado can break boards. I really like Amano Iwado against Goki. You're going second, you summon Amano Iwado, it shuts everything off, which I think is crazy. I think a lot of people forget about that. And because of that, you can then slowly break their board. And True Draco is great, especially when going second, being able to break the opponent's board. So very, very solid. Also, True Draco does not care if you U-Link them. They don't use an extra deck half the time. As you guys can see, he's not playing an extra deck, and even if they were, it's mostly all Cherry's targets. So since he's not playing Cherries, he's not playing an extra deck, he does not care if you U-Link him. He's just going to break the U-Link, summoning a mono, and just doing everything that the deck has always done. So very solid, very simple monster lineup, 8 monsters. For the spells, he's still playing 2 copies of Desires. I know a lot of people are on the fence about Desires. It's scary because with only 1 copy of Return, 1 copy of Dynamite Knight, you banish him, it sucks, but this card is still so powerful. It's such a tempo swing. The +1 is amazing. Drawing 2 cards is always going to be drawing 2 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I feel that if you are able to support this card, you should still play it. 3 copies of Demise. Yeah, this card's still at 3. I think people forgot about that. This is the best Demise deck in the format. This card says draw 3. This card is broken, especially with the Mono Iwado, because Ash isn't going to work. So 3 card of Demise, broken. He opts to play 3 copies of Terraforming. Now, this is interesting because I feel a lot of players have dropped to 2. The reason being is seeing multiple diagrams isn't as good as you would think. But I feel that he decided to max out on Terraforming for the fact that he is playing Pot of Desires, because you still want to be able to have access to Diagram when you need it. So if you do banish a Terraforming or you do banish a copy of Diagram, you still have an equal chance to see them later in the game. So plays 3 copies of that, get you your Diagram, best field spell. 3 Pot of Duality, self-explanatory. The 1 Stormforth, this card's really good. A lot of people underestimate it because this card can break boards. Since it doesn't target, you can just, activate it, and then you can just tribute any monster, and then that's another way to break the U-board. It's another way to just play around problematic monsters and out cards that are a real problem, like Borreload, etc. So really, really solid card. Probably one of the best one-ofs you can play in the deck. 3 copies of Heritage, 3 copies of Disciple. Self-explanatory. Disciples has become extremely strong. Being able to recycle your engine is key, and I feel that that's why this deck is so good. Is not only is the deck consistent, not only is the deck powerful, it has recyclability, which I think is something a deck needs to be able to thrive in this format. So very, very solid. 3 diagrams, self-explanatory, heart and soul of the deck. Onto the traps. The 1 return, best trap card you have. Being able to special back all your monsters is insane. Being able to get it off Dynamite is like the combo, so being able to do that is still ridiculous with 1 copy of each. So these are the cards you really don't want to banish off Desires, your Return, and your Dynamite. So hopefully, you know, if you search it out early enough, you won't have that problem. On to more of the traps, one of his main floodgates 3 Gozen match. I think a lot of people are just realizing, yeah, True Draco still exists because Gozen and Rivalry are still at 3 and he's maxing out on these cards. This card literally is just a big middle finger to the format. It's so solid against Gokis. It's so solid against Altergeist. It's so powerful against Altergeist because for people who don't know, Altergeist do run Rivalry, but Altergeist are all different attributes. They're not different types. They're all spellcasters, but they're different attributes. So Gozen Match just completely destroys that deck. It steamrolls that deck the minute you activate this. So this card is nuts. He also played 1 tech copy of Mistake, which I think is amazing. I think a lot of people forgot about this card too. This card is perfect in this deck because once you do all your searching and everything, you flip this up, your opponent gets stunned for the turn, and then you can just tribute it away for a Draco monster. So this card is really solid in the deck. He also side decks a 2nd copy, so I think this card caught a lot of people off guard, and I think that's another reason why he did so well. People were not seeing this card coming, and I mean, being able to flip a card that just says you can't even, you know, add cards except by drawing them, I think is nuts. So very solid card to play 1 copy of Mistake in the main deck. 3 Apocalypse, this card is nuts. Being able to just you know, half your opponent's monster, being able to do it in the damage step is insane. It's how you win games. You know, Twist Cobra and other effects try to boost their monsters. You just activate this, and it's all for nothing, and you just win. So card is nuts. The 1 skill drain because you drain skill out of the game and you just win. And then 3 Rivalry because it's just as powerful as Gozen, and it just, you know, basically says you cannot play. It's not good against Altergeist, but you don't have to flip it against Altergeist. It actually can be in a weird situation where you could flip it when they just have Link Karibo, then they're stuck underneath it. So card's pretty good, and then again, if it becomes a problem, you can just send it away to tribute summon one of your Draco monsters. So that's it for the main deck. It's 41 cards. He plays no extra deck, you guys. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. No extra deck. There's no Monarch Erupt. I messaged him today, and I asked him, I said, okay, I understand the concept of not playing an extra deck, but I don't see you playing Monarch Erupt. He just chose not to play that card. He chose not to play an extra deck. Now, it makes me wonder if that was a mind game because the opponent would think, oh, I'm playing against Erupt. They would never know when he would flip it. If he would flip it, little did they know it wasn't in the deck. Also, he just didn't want it in the main deck, so he opted to just play this. It might also have been all he had access to. So, overall, I think it's crazy he didn't play an extra deck. I think it's crazy that he didn't play Monarchs Erupt, but it worked for him. He got top 8 and I didn't. So shout out to him for you know, one hell of a mind game, because the opponent's going to think, oh god, I have to play around Erupt every time, and in reality there's no Erupt. There's just Mistake, Floodgate, Skill Drain, etc., and cards to just win the game. So yeah, so no extra deck to go over. His side deck, pretty self-explanatory. 3 copies of Sphere Mode. This is to out the Goki board. Card's still broken. Your normal summon doesn't matter because the only card you'd be normal summoning is a Mono Awato, and if you're normal summoning this, you're breaking their board, and then you're just summoning Draco monsters. 1 Raigeki clears boards. 3 MST, solid card, good against Sky Strikers. Just being able to get rid of problematic cards is solid. 2 copies of Call by the Grave, stops hand traps against him if he doesn't have a Mono Awato. Also just has good applications. Banishing Molaseek is powerful. Banishing Ray against Strikers is extremely powerful. Call by the Grave, I think, has definitely become one of the main like staple cards, either in a main deck or a side deck this format. I think it's just a very solid card overall. 3 anti-spell, you know, broken against Pendulums, amazing against Sky Strikers. You just flip it up and you pretty much just win the game. So very solid card as well. Also, beauty of this card, just like all the other Floodgates, you can tribute it off when you no longer need it for your Draco monsters. 2nd copy of Mistake, again, this card's insane. And then he plays 2 Solemns, he plays 1 Judgment, this card says no, and he actually plays 1 Scolding. Now, I think this is really interesting. I feel that this is solely just for going first, and once you clear out all your back row, because you can't use it otherwise, but I think this card would catch a lot of people off guard, because this is one of the few Solemn cards that can basically stop anything, so I think this card's also really solid, and definitely was unexpected. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That is Terrence Allen's top 8 True Draco deck profile from the Pasadena, California regionals. Again, I wasn't able to get the live deck profile, but I got this here for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. All he wanted to add was he wanted to shout out my boy Elvis Vu for letting him use the deck. So shout out to you, Elvis. You came through for your boy, and he top 8'd and made you proud. And shout out to my other boy Alexis for waiting for him to get home. So that's awesome. Shout out to them. Those are the homies. You know, just shout out to everyone that showed out for that regionals, and shout out again for Terrence for sending me the deck list. I really appreciate it, bro. Congratulations on your top. It's awesome that you did it with True Draco. I never thought we'd be saying that, but after not seeing True Draco for a really long time, people are still playing this deck, still showing love for it, and I think it's awesome to see when the deck has success. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. If you did, please be sure to smash that like button. More likes we get, the more deck profiles we'll have here on the channel. Again, as I go to more regionals, I'll be hoping to get more live deck profiles for you guys, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Any questions, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and let me know if there are any other regional decks that people want to send in. Be sure to just send them to me, and I'll be sure to feature them here on the channel. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.